Some basic offence and defence drills. So the first thing that we'll do is talk about the basic defence, which your staple should be your 1-3-1. Like that's just your go-to setup. So we're just going to go through.
Does everyone know what Siobhan means when she says 1-3-1?
Yeah.
Anyone not know?
1-3-1 refers to, you look at the green team there, you've got one goalie under the goal with a line of 3 defenders in front of the goalie, or now 2, and now 3, and then a point player in front of the 3 back line.
Yep.
That's what a 1-3-1 is. It's just the formation of the defenders.
Yeah. Cool. Okay. So we won't talk about the goalie, but they are doing a lot of communicating. So their job is just to say which side the drive is coming in from. So if you can see the drive coming in from the left, communicate that to your teammates to say, drive left. We'll go through each of the positions and just talk a couple of points about what they should be concentrating on. So if our offense is setting up to start with, the first drive, so number 1's driving in, the really important thing for this guy is not to get caught up or screened by this driver. So what you don't want to be doing is getting pushed onto your centre player, and then basically that offender has just taken out 2 of your players. So a really easy way is just not to hit them at all. So just sit out slightly wide and let them go past you, and the centre player will take them. That's probably the simplest thing to do, and probably the best tactics to start with is just leave them completely. The slightly more advanced, which you have to be slightly better boat skills, is that you can just give them a slight nudge. So they're trying to drive in, they're ideally trying to get into this position, but if you just give them a slight nudge, and then they'll get bumped where they don't want to go, and you maintain your position.
Want to be the attacker or you?
Yeah, sure. But it's just really hard to do that and not get caught on them. So to start with, I would say just leave them completely. So that's that person's job. The centre player, they are trying to maintain position. So out of everyone in the defence, their job is just to be that solid player in the centre. This area around you is your area, and you're not going to let any attackers sit there. So for this guy, the really important thing is where your nose is, so where your tail is in relation to the attacker. So your tail is always between the attacker and the goalie. So if they drive in and you're meeting them and you're keeping your tail between the goalie and them, and then if you get them around this side, right here, you need to dip your tail under the goalie so that your tail is still between the attacker and the goalie. So that's a really key point for this person to think about, is where your tail is in relation to that goalie. So you're always hitting them and then duck your tail under, sit back around this side, and just keep them on the outside of you. That is a fine position to have your attacker. You can just keep them there. With the help of this person, you're not going to let a ball come into them. And if they do get the ball, you're driving them. They're going to have a really difficult shot.
So this defender's putting themselves in between to make it very difficult for this attacker to pass the ball inside.
Yeah.
And if they get the ball, then a bit of that action.
Yeah. So the ideal thing to do is actually to not let someone inside in the first place. So what you want to be doing is everyone bumping the player across and out the other side of the zone, so that they don't get in anywhere. So that's called bumping, and that's another word that you should be using on the field to talk to your teammates is I'm bumping, and that just means, yep, I'm going to give this player to you, so be ready, they're coming. So this person has left them completely. The player's coming in. Number 3 says to number 1, I'm bumping. They're going to give him a quick bump. Number 1 has to be ready to get their nose inside and to take this player on the outside of them.
Where should they bump into?
They should bump the attacker near the foot pegs. Yeah, there's little
Bumps.
bolts on the boat, and so you can see those bolts. So you're going to bump there, and then this person has to be ready to get their nose inside. So often what happens is there's a player over here, and number 1's oh yeah, I'm looking at number 2, I've got my player, no worries. And number 3, maybe they didn't communicate quite right and they didn't say, hey, I'm bumping, and they bumped, and then this player's inside and you haven't quite done your job correctly. So yeah, you're looking at this player, but you also have to be aware of what's going on the other side of the field. So even though you're setting up on this side, you have to know what's coming on the other side of the field. So that's their job, is to get your nose inside and then take them low and wide. So yeah, I'll talk about that now. So this, if you're one of these back 2 players and you've got a player on you, where you want that attacker is low and wide. So like drive them low and wide, and you can have them sitting on your tail. And if they're sitting there trying to get in still, like you're pretty happy there, and hopefully they will go out. Anything else for the back 3 players? Cool. We can talk about the top player. This is my favourite position. Family's favourite as well. I'm sure it's not Matt's favourite position. This person probably has like the most thinking job. Like you've got a lot of thinking to do. This is generally like your quick, fast person who's really good at turning. Yeah, these players back here are usually your bigger, stronger players who can maintain their position. So as this top player, first thing is where you set up when they're setting up their offense. So the ball's over this side. So who can tell me, like let's just switch our mind to attack now. If the ball's starting off over here, that's on the left hand side of the field, where's the shot going to be?
Across. Oh, on the other side?
Yeah, on the other side, yep. So as this top player, you know that the final shot is probably going to be coming from over here. So don't sit with your back to them. Start with your tail to the ball so that you know that that ball is going to swing around, and this is where the final shot's going to come from, and you're ready to paddle forward. So the rule is start with your tail where the ball is. So yeah, for that first drive, you know that the people behind you have got them. You don't need to attack them. So the first drive's going to go. So let's just take these 3 out of it. Let's just take 2 out of it. So we're worried about these 3 players. So yeah, as this top player, you should always have 2 people in front of you. As soon as there's only 1 person in front of you, you know your teammates behind you are in trouble. Because if you've got like 2 in front of you, there's 1, 2, 3 attackers behind you and 1, 2, 3 defenders behind you. You know that your teammates are pretty sweet. As soon as there's only 1 attacker in front of you, you know that there's going to be an overlap happening behind you. So you have to be ready to take someone. So always have at least 2 people in front of you as that top player. So there's a lot of thinking and a lot of counting numbers. So they've driven in, they're inside doing their thing. So these guys are about to set up an overlap as well. So where am I going? Oh yeah, so just say like this person, oh no, just screw that, sorry. So these guys have set up an attack. We'll go back to this. So here, these guys have just done a nice little wedge on the back of the defense. So now as a defender, another one of your jobs is to fill the holes. So you can see that there is a hole here. So this is a hole that you should be sitting in. Because as the attackers, they want to drive and shoot there. So if you just set up and sit in front of that hole, you don't have to get in there and push anyone out the way. You can just sit in that space, and there's not going to be any drivers into that hole, and they're not going to be able to pass into that hole easily. So you've shut down that attack pretty much by not even doing anything. You're just sitting yourself there, and then yeah, I guess you're just hitting the last driver and hitting the second to last driver is your job there. Anything to add to the top player, Stephen?
I think that covers it.
Yeah.
Like Siobhan said, you have to be switched on as a top player. There is a lot to think about, and you've got to evaluate your threats as they're coming in or as they're not coming in. You have to talk to the people behind you, people behind have to talk to you. The big thing is communication, like Siobhan said with the bumping. If you don't communicate that and you let someone through, you set the person up next to you to have a lot more work than they need to.
Yep. So
I'll
just
add
going.
something.
Yeah.
When the attacking team's just about to shoot, the point might as well get ready to go and and sprint down the field, because if the defensive team blocks it, they can very easily pass the ball off and do a long shot to you, so that you can have a very easy fast break goal. A lot of goals get scored that way. The attacking team overcommits and don't remember that they've got to, when someone's shooting, they've got to be able to turn and go and cover their own goal.
The same thing, tell me if I'm wrong or not, but the same thing goes with the team that's attacking. But if one of your team members goes to take a shot, then whoever your last 2 or 3 players, they should be turning and getting ready to cover in case there is a fast break.
Yeah.
Agreed?
Generally, the initial drivers on the offense are the ones that are going to be the ones that are covering. So, as Siobhan said earlier, ball starts on the left side with the drives and the threat. It's going to, most of the time, it's going to work its way around to the right side to take the shot. Those initial drivers on the left will be the ones turning and doing the cover, or the shooters on the right side. So you're involving everybody in your offense. It's just giving the roles at the different times. Initial drivers draw the defense, ball goes around, those initial drivers are covering, and the last of the team are shooting.
So I'll just reiterate all the points that I made there, just in clear, concise steps. So the first one was, think about the line between the attacker and the goalie, and for any of these defenders, you want to keep your body on that line so that you are always between the attacker and the goalie. So if this person's here, you've got them on on your hip, like on your thigh here. As soon as they're slips past you, you don't want to let them slide past you. You've lost position and you're just going to have to put your head down and work really, really hard. Or, I'll come back to something else that you can do. I'll talk about it now. So the other thing that you can do, so we talked about the bump. Everyone's called on the bump? Yep. The other thing that you can do if that doesn't work is a switch. So that's another really key word that I like to hear on the water. People saying bumping, bumping, or switching, switching. So as soon as you have tried to bump and it hasn't worked and this person's got you, you can either put your head down and work or you switch. So by switching, you can either talk to number 1 or to number 2. This is number 3 talking now. So he's like, wait, number 1, switch with me, switch. So number 1 can take over, and remember he wants to get his tail between the attacker and the goalie, and then he can move up and that person can move down. Or like if there's room, you can come through here. So that's basically the switch. So bump or
Swapping
switch.
over with the teammate.
Yeah.
Another way.
Like ideally you want to hold position and bump them off, and then your next option is to switch. So the next key point, which I just want to reiterate because it's really, really important, is getting your nose inside the attackers. So as the attacker comes through, that person might bump, and then it's really important for number 3 to get their nose up in there and just to take them down wide and low. That one is really, really important. Like if someone is in a position where they can shoot, you just want to turn them away from goals, and that's just like putting your head down and working really, really hard. All the boat positioning, the tackling and putting them under boat pressure is much more effective than sitting there and waving the paddle. So yeah, put them under boat pressure. Cool, I think that's probably good for defence. So we'll talk about attacking.
Yeah,
Yep.
please do. Yeah.
Awesome. Okay, so now let's switch to the pink team. So we are now the pink team.
Did anybody have any questions about what Siobhan was saying about defence? I know she's really smashed through a whole lot of concepts. Has anybody got any questions? What bumping is, what switching with your teammate is, what you do if someone's about to take an attacker's about to take a shot in front of you. What do you do? As Siobhan said, you work hard, but what does that mean? Is anybody unsure? Please feel free to ask questions. This is what we're here for.
Yeah, if there's anything that you're
I guess you got that
thinking
thing,
back
you-
on, yeah, good.
Are you going to hit the person who's going to shoot, or are you just going to try and block?
Attacking player is going to shoot, and you're a defender. If you're facing them, I think the best thing to do is to try and tackle